Okay, all set.
Cool. And this presentation will also be put up on our site, on the Alignable site as a PDF, so you'll be able to review it there as well. So look, you know, I'm a small business owner, obviously, and I think one of our biggest challenge always is how we engage with our customers, and especially engage in a way that they want to engage with us. So this is going to be a bit of a data dump on, you know, some of the tools that are out there, you know, mainly what's important about those tools, but it'll be, you know, done through the view of a small business owner. And you know, I think one of the things that's at least I've found to be true is that we have limited resources at our hands. You know, we're not big companies that can have a purchasing department, a marketing department, a, you know, whatever department. Most of us wear multiple hats, do multiple things, and that is something that makes engaging with customers a challenge. So these tools, hopefully, are there to make it easier for us to do that, and that's what we'll be reviewing. It's going to go quick because there's a lot of stuff, and hey, I welcome anybody to, you know, raise your hand, jump in if you want to add some. I'll provide some anecdotal things on products that we use, but there's a lot of that I haven't used. So, you know, if you have something you want to share, please feel free to do so. That's why we're here. So customer engagement, obviously, pretty important. And I think it's getting more and more important for all the reasons listed there. I'm not going to read them off to you. I think you all know. You know, we're going to be in a situation where we're looking at tools that might be able to add value in the way we interact with these customers, meeting them the way they want to, increasing availability, which is one of the biggest problems because we're all wearing multiple hats, making great first impressions when they do come in, helping us make sales, and of course, improving our workflow efficiency. We have a lot of potential digital touch points in the customer process. We're not going to go through all of them. I've kind of focused on the top end in this group of products. That is, you know, mostly attracting and selling, and of course, customer service overlays all those. But those are the primary tools that we focused on. I didn't focus too much on fulfillment because that's, you know, very industry specific. And, you know, collection, very important, and I think that's probably something we'll deal with as a separate issue in one of the webinars. So basically, 5 groups of digital tools that we'll go through quickly: digital marketing and automation tools, social media management tools, digital communications tools. I'm not going to really go through any specific examples of companies there because there's a gazillion of them and it's a really broad topic, but I do think it's worth mentioning. And then I think the key one is customer relationship management. That's kind of the database center, and that's I think probably the product that gives the most could be eating up a lot of your costs, but also is the most important in your operations. And then I'm going to bring up ERP one more time, since that's our, you know, our focus, but how it brings all these tools together. You know, I've going to do a brief review of each of these, which identifies the tools, types of tools there are, how they might help in the customer engagement process, key features, challenges, and examples. And then there's an appendix where there's more detail evaluation of each of the products. I can't take credit for all the research. I used my good friend ChatGPT for a bunch of it, but I found it very useful and very helpful. So that's, again, this will be posted. We'll also provide a link in a follow-up email so that you can easily click on links to these products if you have any interest. All right, so with that, let's jump in and talk first about digital marketing tools. And I broke them into 2 types. First is the, you know, email text marketing tools. You know, you're probably familiar with these. You can do drip campaigns, you know, trigger events that triggers journeys. We use it, for instance, for onboarding, and of course, obviously, customer communications of various types. And then the second group is social media marketing, and that basically is for your advertising and rating, collection of ratings and tracking. So we'll start with, again, why do we need them? Well, it's a big source of lead generation, obviously, and a certain amount of frustration that goes with that. But it is that's a big portion of lead generation, certainly for brand awareness. As I said, we use it a lot for onboarding. Someone signs up for our products on our websites or through any of our links. That automatically triggers an event journey of providing login information, providing training information, et cetera. So very helpful for that. And then, of course, just general customer awareness, keeping your customers informed, newsletters, those kinds of things. Some of the key features you want to look for when you're thinking about this, obviously email messaging, but the SMS or text messaging, we're having I would say, significantly greater success with that than we are with email marketing. So I'd recommend you looking into that if you haven't. If you need help with that, we have our resident expert, Bambi Weevil. I don't know if Bambi's with us today. She's been on vacation this week, but she'd certainly be willing to help out if you have any questions about text messaging marketing. You want your SYS software to have campaign automation. That's those drip campaigns, event triggers, as I mentioned, that also can trigger campaigns. And then it's helpful to have this integrated into your CRM so that you're collecting information and have at your fingertips, what's been sent to these people. And the last one, I think, is personalized content. Emails get open more, text messages get open more if they can be personalized. So that's another key feature. As far as challenges, you're going to hear me say this a lot for small businesses like ourselves. Usability is always going to be at the top. I don't know how many times I hear from potential customers, I can't learn another piece of software. I just can't take it. And so usability is always going to be an important feature to consider. And in the case of these, it's how much programming is involved and how easy is it to do. It's possible, that you're going to need to be able to use APIs for triggering events. That's what we use when we trigger events. That requires some programming, some engineering capability. Certainly can be done with a partner if you don't have it in-house. And then you just have to have the ability to do some decent content creation. What the biggest challenge for me is the second one there, regulations and controls. It's getting harder and harder and harder to get good lists, and have them, we started off with, a list of about 25,000 people that had signed up for emails and whatever. By the time within a few years, it was, the regulation portion of it cut it down. It's, it's things like you have to email, 3 times a month or something, or then it goes into a different group. Very frustrating stuff. So again, we're fortunate to have an in-house expert that helps us through that, but it does take that. And and then there's the user side where they're blocking everything, which for small business people, just as a pet peeve, to me that's the dumbest thing that you can do. We don't have purchasing departments that are keeping us up to date on all the latest and greatest things. The only way we get that is through either advertising that catches our interest, or for through some type of marketing, email type marketing, whatever. So I don't block anybody. It doesn't mean I read every email, but I definitely look at them. So I got to learn somehow, and I find it'd be the best and fastest way. So what I've done in each of these groups is to kind of take the popular ones, and ChatGPT helped with that. And then I did my own ratings of them based upon my research and information. My ratings, as I said, are based upon how I look at things as a small business. You may look at it totally different. This is subjective. I have limited resources, so I need to make sure, for me, usability is real high on the list. Obviously, as a small business, cost is high on the list. So, it really becomes a situation where, everybody has to make their own evaluations, and hopefully the details in the appendix, if you want to dig into these, will at least give you a flavor of what the strengths, weaknesses are, pricing is, and you can make your own ratings. But these are kind of the categories that I think are important to be able, to look at. And each of these are a little bit different. So we happen to use MailChimp now. Prior to MailChimp, we were using a company called Keep, which originally was Infusionsoft. Big, high-powered company. One of the things I liked about it is you could use it for business accounts as well as individual contacts, so that was helpful. But it was like $900 a month. And it was very hard to program. It was like, a zillion features we didn't need. So, we switched over to MailChimp, and I get all the things that I need out of MailChimp for $20 a month. So I like pocketing $800 a month. That's a nice $10,000 savings. So, those are the kinds of things that you can look at. What features do you really need? It doesn't matter if they have, 100 features you don't need. It's the 5 that you do need that you need to look for. So why I gave MailChimp a 3+ for features, because they aren't as robust as some of the others. For me, those 3+ are all I needed. Usability is very high. It's very easy to program. Very easy for us to set up our campaigns and one of the cool things is it integrates with QuickBooks Online. So when we set it up, all our customers automatically came over into MailChimp and were readily accessible. So, that's why we like it, and we've incorporated it into our platform for resale. I've also used Constant Contact and like that as well. I think that's a good small business. They're also an Alignable member and have some special pricing for Alignable members, so they're worth a look. I have not used any of the others, but as you can see, I just pulled the ratings and based upon what the research showed. So hopefully that that this is just a quick look into it and spur some interest. Look at the details, and then maybe look at different options that fit your needs. And again, if anybody wants to chime in, just raise your hand in chat, and Gannon will let us know, and we'll take time out for you for your comments. The other group was the social media group, and basically there's 3 things that I looked at: social media marketing, social media monitoring, which is monitoring what your ratings are and then what your competitors' ratings might be, so you know where you know what your public is seeing when they look you up. And then social media repair. The obvious things are brand awareness and lead generation, customer awareness are the reasons why we do it. For most of the accounts you're going to see, their big thing is the content and the scheduling portion, and then results analytics. That's their major focus. Some of them, our focus is more in the bottom 3, but they also do. Some of them have ratings generation, and there's some software out there that is just ratings generation. I really didn't include those in the evaluation. As far as again, back to these tools, up to me, it's basically comes down to usability, and the other thing is, are they easy to stay on top of and manage? Because this is one of those things, if you don't catch a problem right away, then you're going to be in a situation where you've lost it. If somebody gives you a bad rating or a fake rating, you want to address it immediately and get it off. Did somebody want to say something? Jake? No, you good? Okay, keep moving then. I looked at a few different groups here. Hootsuite's obviously, the most well-known, I would think. They have great scheduling features, monitoring, a bit pricey. So that's, you have to really be doing a lot of this stuff, and I have to say, we do our own posts in Facebook and Alignable and whatever, our social media groups. So we just do it ourselves. But if you're doing a lot, especially if you're like in retail, that's where those kind of groups come into play quite a bit. As I said, ours Xceleran product, we're big on monitoring your social media, making sure that instantly when there's a review below whatever threshold you set. And then we're also big on repair. A lot of people don't know that you can get, bad reviews. There's like 3 or 4 categories that can be grounds for getting those repaired or removed from your site. We have 2 products. One is an automated product, and the other is we do it manually. Both are very effective and very price affordable. So something to consider. All right, any questions on that before we move on to digital communications? All right, let's jump in. Now, this is the group where I didn't really go into detail on product companies. There's a bunch of them out there. These are just the things that I think are important for all small companies to consider. I was in telecommunications for over 20 years, took a company public in telecommunications, Nextlink. And voice over IP is the greatest thing, especially now. I mean, now with the high-speed capabilities that exist in the internet, voice over IP is great for a couple of reasons. I'm going to share another slide. Obviously, you need some SMS text capability. Again, that's a growing demand. Chat and team conferencing. Team conferencing, we actually use quite a bit in our onboarding process. So we set up a team chat with new customers so that for at least the first 30 days, they have access to the onboarding team as they need. Really is an effective way to bring people on when you're dealing with any kind of product that requires, some period of time of people learning. And then, of course, our Zoom, we need the video conferencing these days to be able to effectively meet with people. I think first impressions are hugely critical in this. How, the ability of people to get to you is really important. And I think, in our day, instant gratification, of course, is unfortunately, we all expect everything to happen instantly. So these tools are those things that can really help do those. I just want to mention a few, important functions. Voice over IP, PBX functionality. There's a bunch of those things. I'm not going to go into detail. Auto attendant for small business. If you don't know what that is, that's when you call in and you get some choices. You can do all kinds of holiday things and out of hours and different things. It's really valuable. It makes you look, much bigger than you probably are, and also, provides a way for you to really stay in touch with your customers, which is the other one, Follow Me. I love voice over IP because, it follows me wherever I am on my phone. Just, it doesn't matter whether it's your desk, it's your phone, it's going to follow you right if you want it to, obviously. And another key is, voice to text, being able to get your voice messages right, in a text. Nobody, we all hate when we don't, somebody doesn't return a call, or if they do return a call, they don't act like they don't know what the heck the call was about. So voice to text is really good. Key challenges, biggest one, is just getting it started. Usability, it does require some programming. It's good to get a partner to help you with that. And once you have all these tools, you still have to be responsive. Nobody likes full mailboxes. Nobody, wants chats to go unanswered. So, making sure that you have the ability to respond is really critical with these tools. So let's jump into CRM. This is really, and I know I'm going fast, but a lot to cover here. But again, just wave your hand if you want to make a comment or have a question. The CRM, customer relationship manager, it's really the key data point, for your customer engagement. It's where all your data is going to be stored. Your sales activities are tracked, obviously contact, and varying different types of these, have strengths in terms of customer data, and potentially weaknesses, but most of them have at least these types of things. Billing history, business affiliations, and that's a big one, by the way. I mentioned, one of the things that a lot of CRMs that are like email based, email marketing based, they're contact driven and not business driven. And that's, if you're a business to business type company, that could be a challenge because you want to associate individuals to businesses and you want to be able to market directly and contact directly. So that's something to look into if you're a B2B type company or do both B2B and B2C. And the other thing is, integrations. A lot of these have extensive integrations and could, be recast as ERPs. But, most of them, the common ones are going to have some email capability, probably associated with bookkeeping, at least to the extent of pulling in, status, and then have analytics as well. How they help. Well, the main three things, obviously, improve customer interaction. That's the customer service side of these things. Sales activity tracking. A lot of them are sales centric. And really are focused on, increasing, the sales process. And it's really good for, those are really good for companies that have a multi-step sales process, sales teams, that kind of thing. And then workflow integration. That's where their integrations with other products come in. It could be real valuable to a small company as well. Key features, customer contact, lead tracking, analytics, especially pipeline analytics of your sales process. Customer services, scheduling, and workflow automation are not always in all of them. I think they should be, but so for me, they would be key features that I would want to see as well. Challenge, this is a situation where there's a real big trade-off with usability and complexity. The more features that are added typically results in more complexity, and that often reduces usability. So that's just something to be very careful evaluating, and that really comes into that cost versus value proposition that you have when it's all said and done. And the other is, what are the integrations? How, it's one thing to say you have an integration because you can tack the product on. We have some of our products that are, are in our ERP, which we could call a CRM if you wanted to, and but aren't really integrated, right? Because they don't need to be. They're not workflow integrated products. But if it is a workflow product, you need to be sure that it's integrated. And the other one is, can you do customizations? A lot of these are highly proprietary, and you can't really do much in the way of customizations to make it work well for you. Just one thing on one anecdote. Free isn't always great. We actually have a customer that decided I want to go with the free CRM, and because they thought the features were good. It's great. Okay. Well, it turns out, all their leads that they were generating and putting in the CRM, these guys were selling to another company. So not always good. Reputation is also important to look at when you're picking one of these guys. Here's some of the, more popular ones. I've used Salesforce.
Quick question, Gary.
Okay.
From Jake, missed what ERP stands for.
Okay, Jake, hold on one. The next slide is going to be about ERP. So
there we go.
We'll cover it then. That's okay with you. Thanks for the thumbs up. So, Salesforce is the big gorilla. I forget, there was another company before Salesforce, like Raintree or something. But these guys are the big gorilla. We've used them, and that's where I found that. We'll probably have at least some power outage. Make sure you mute, please. Some of these.
Now let me take you through the timing. Yeah, Ronan, if you could please mute.
There you go.
Yep.
Thank you. They're they got a gazillion features. There's lots of integrations, very pricey, could be several $100s per person, which is one of the things in all of these is pricing. Most of these, I think we're the only exception, are user-based pricing. Ours is not, it's fixed pricing. But that limits you, on a budget wise. Great product, but again, for me, we didn't use any of the features, and it's really, if you're a small business, you want a company that's really is a small business company. Salesforce is really a medium to large business at this point. HubSpot and Zoho are better priced, more small business oriented. If I was, want to consider, I would consider those two. Pipedrive is really highly sales focused. So if you again go back to, you have a Salesforce or a sales process, a multi-step sales process, Pipedrive might be a good choice to look into. Our product, our CEC, Customer Engagement Center, is our CRM, encompasses our CM, and it is very customer engagement focused, with self-scheduling features, highly usable, and again, with fixed pricing, so not user-based. Again, all of these you can find more detail on when we get into the appendix, which I'll show you, but I'm not going to go through in any detail today. All right, so let's talk about ERP for a second, and I bring this in because one of the things is, how do you bring all these tools together? And that's what the role of an ERP, which stands for Enterprise Resource Planner. It's an archaic term from the 60s, and it's stuck. We call it a bit more like a business ecosystem, but it's basically pulling together and integrating all those tools. And the ERP portion itself is your command and control center, and it is the device or the software that pulls all this together for convenience, and also provides the analytics, and it provides the automation and integration of the various products. So this is the advertisement time. This is our dashboard for our ERP, Xceleran Central. Hopefully you'll visit. We have a really nice Alignable offer, and since we're brand new to Alignable, the first 100, it's even better. It's 90 days free on all our personal products. There's a discount on our adjunct products like QuickBooks Online and all the Intuit products. And then more importantly, there's a cashback program on your payment processing portion. So you can actually get all this software for free. And I should mention, where other ERPs, and I'll give you a few examples. A few of the pricing is beyond. It's two big issues for me. When you're looking at ERP, how customizable and usable are they, and the price. So just to give you an example, our Xceleran Central starts at $40 a month, and no limit on users. And when you add in all the other software components, you might get to at most $200 to $300 a month. And then again, you're going to get money cash back from what you're already doing, which is using payment processing and just using ours, which is competitive rates and great. It's Intuit, and so you have that opportunity, and as put that up against like Oracle's NetSuite, it starts at $1,000 a month plus user fees. And every one of these is a significantly higher price, and most of them, for a reason, they're geared towards larger companies, not the companies that have 3 to 5 to 6 front office and back office people. That's what our company is. We have 40 plus employees, but most of those are fulfillment people. They're out doing the things that we make money on. The front office and back office, we're a small group, and we have, all wear multiple hats. And so, when we designed the product, we designed it for us, and we use all our products. So at any rate, that's our advertisement. Hope you'll take a look at our Alignable page. Again, I'll put that link in the chat, as well as a link to this presentation, and the reason you might want to download it is, again, as I said, we have an appendix. And basically I just went through all these and just highlight, a link to the site itself, and then what they say about themselves and their taglines, and then just strengths, weaknesses, key integrations, and then an idea of what pricing is.